Well, what we need to understand is, when you're pursuing a vehicle like this, there are elements outside your control. The vehicle ahead of you is completely beyond your control. But the vehicle you're driving, that's a totally different matter. Within that vehicle, the officers should be controlled, calm about what's going on, have an idea of how they're going to be bringing this to a conclusion. What you see from the front of the vehicle is not just the vehicle you're pursuing, but you've got to be mindful of everything going on around. The times that you see other road users having to avoid a collision, pedestrians who step from the road suddenly to realise that there's a car hurtling towards them. You get all of that when you're a pursuing driver. A lot of this is missed by the kids that are driving these cars. You know, they don't see the danger around them. As a pursuing driver, you have to make a lot of judgment calls, and you have to decide whether you will continue to do this. If you decide that you are going to continue this, you have to justify your actions, and that's the big thing with pursuits, is we have to justify everything that goes on. Pursuits are not random events. Pursuits are managed. The pursuing driver will feed information through the radio back to a tactical advisor, who will actually make a lot of those judgment calls. We'll assess how many vehicles we have that we can reasonably deploy to an incident. If we don't have sufficient vehicles to bring that pursuit to a safe conclusion, we won't continue the pursuit. So that is taken away from the driver. The driver can make the decision himself. If he feels that this is too dangerous to continue, he can actually make that decision to stop driving there and then, and we'll let the vehicle go on its way. No driver is ever going to be criticised for that. As a family liaison officer, I had to deal with families who'd suffered from that very thing. In fact, the police vehicle had made that early call and made that decision not to pursue the vehicle. It then continued into the town to find the vehicle had of its own accord crashed, and five young people died in that collision. And that was just quite tragic, but not just for the families, but for the whole community, for the police officers involved, and everyone that investigated it. It was a very traumatic experience. For want of a thrill ride.